Hi everybody, welcome back to the Heroic Performance YouTube channel. My name is Joshua Haig, I'm the owner of Heroic Performance. I wanted to spend a little time with you today. I'm going to cook and I wanted to talk a little bit about nutrition, especially coming into the holiday season. I'm not doing anything crazy cooking wise. I'm going to make myself some breakfast. We're shooting here early in the morning, so I figured it was the right thing to do. And I wanted to talk about carbohydrates. It's one of the biggest misconceptions that I hear from pretty much everyone. And there are so many dietary fads out there. There is keto, there is Atkins, there is, the carnivore is something that's kind of become a big topic of conversation, right? Eating just meats. What's right, what's wrong, what works for you, what doesn't. My hope is that I can shed some light on how I coach, how my clients find success, and how I found success realistically over time. I have struggled with my weight for most of my life, and I'm a big dude. I'm 6'6", I'm 269 pounds right now. My normal fighting weight is like 248 to 250. We all go through it. We all go through that journey of fluctuations. So this is my stance on carbohydrates. I'm gonna cook some breakfast. I'm making a lean egg white omelet. I start my day super high protein. So a little bit of extra nutritional facts today. 260 pound man, 1 to 1.25 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So I'm a big fan of turkey sausage links. I use the Johnsonville, quick and easy because I'm always on the run. And then I use egg whites. I'm gonna do just a straight egg white omelet, a little bit of oil in the pan, nothing crazy. I'll do olive oil if there's nothing special. Coconut oil, technically we could go into burn points. What creates that saturated fat, polyunsaturated, all of it. We'll get into that over time. For now, olive oil in the pan, couple sausage links, call it a day. We're gonna let that sizzle up. When it comes to carbohydrates, we need to think about what it is at a root cause, right? It's one of our macronutrients. It's one of the most important things to live. You need sugar. Sugar is carbohydrate. Sugar comes in many forms. Sugar is good and bad. Anyone who tells you you do not need it, anyone who says that you can just cut it out of your life, that's a falsity in my opinion. Sugar is most readily converted to ATP. ATP is what your body uses as the big explosion to create life, to get you to breathe. You're gonna stand there, you're gonna be a big bicep curl. Well, it's requiring energy from the muscle group. Now, unless you're completely in ketosis, and ketosis is where your body is metabolizing fat instead of carbohydrates, you are going to burn sugars. Now, there is such a thing as excess sugars. Sugars are most readily stored as fat if we eat too many of them. All of that starts to come into play. So let's first look at high glycemic and low glycemic. So this concept is things that spike your blood sugar and in turn have a pretty big insulin response, and things that don't. And I wanted to kind of go through a couple easy choices for you of things to eat to hopefully see a low glycemic index carbohydrate intake, lots of good protein, lots of good vegetables, and in turn seeing a more steady blood sugar response. This is going to be long, slow duration energy. This is going to be no crash in the middle of the day. High glycemic and low glycemic, there should be basically like a scale. There's no right or wrong. Timing of everything is very important. I can tell you that dextrose from Harborough gummy bears are good for you at the right time. Everything falls onto this scale. And if you're a high glycemic food at the wrong time, that's bad. A low glycemic food at the wrong time, that's bad. There are good choices and bad choices. So I think the real way to word this is I'm trying to educate you on the spectrum of carbohydrates and tell you that you have the power to make the right choice at the right time to impact your blood sugar properly. That's the wording I was looking for. So these gummy worms, they're high glycemic, meaning they're gonna hit your system and you're gonna see a quick spike in blood sugar. You're gonna feel really good really quickly. If you think of children, they're buzzing all over the place, mile a minute. The problem is, then we take a nap 15, 20 minutes later, right? So your body processes it, it fires you up really quickly, and then you crash, okay? This is also very easily stored as fat. So there's so much sugar content in something like that, we naturally overeat. I think it's pretty vital to monitor the intake. High glycemic or low glycemic, that's up to you. But the overall intake is the most important stack. Now from there, we have our gummy worms. Let's think through other high glycemic things. These are going to be things that spike your blood sugar. Just understand that. High glycemic spikes your blood sugar. Pastas are going to be a big one, right? We have a traditional, I can't think of the word, my mom's going to kill me. Orzo. Oh my God, it's an orzo. $2 a box. Filling, good in the right moment, good after a heavy lift, good before a sports game, right? You're going to prep your body for that big rah. However, at the wrong time of day, it's just going to be stored as fat in the body. It's not going to be converted metabolically, right? We're not going to burn through it. I don't personally like to eat these at night before I go right to bed because you're not processing it. A friend of mine loves the gluten-free pastas. She's eating fusilli right now. This is going to be a little bit better if you're allergic to anything. Still the same concept though. I would look into what it's made with. If it's a pasta, high glycemic, okay? Now, from there, we're going to take a step down. We're going to have our breads, okay? This is, again, high glycemic. So I have some sourdough. I had it for lunch the other day. It's not bad that you're eating sourdough bread, but you need to understand the quantity. If I go to Olive Garden, and I love Olive Garden, if I go to Olive Garden and I eat 6 baskets of breadsticks, which I've seen me do, the problem that we face is where's all that going? Where's the process of it, right? 2 breadsticks, 3 breadsticks, not bad. With a salad, not bad. Breadsticks with the pasta, high glycemic. You see how that sugar adds up? This is the problem we face. So bread is not necessarily a bad thing. If I'm going to be making a sandwich that's loaded with great ham and vegetables, tomato, maybe a BLT, a little bit of mayo in there for fats, bread is not a bad thing. But the problem is when the bread is then coupled with potato chips, and then that potato chip is coupled with an apple, right? All of these things now, sugar, and you're taking in a really high carbohydrate load, okay? So again, bread is not necessarily bad, but it depends on what you're eating it with, how much you're eating it, and what the rest of your day looks like. We're going to take a step away from bread. We're going to move to granola. I'm a big fan of granola. I eat it every day. Technically, oats are going to be considered high glycemic, meaning they're going to have more of a spike of your blood sugar than, let's say, a sweet potato. However, in the grand scheme of it, it's very low, almost could be considered low glycemic. This is why you see a lot of diets want to start your day with oatmeal. It gets your blood sugar going with a little drizzle of honey in there with some fruit, things like that. It's fantastic for you, but they'll eat it in the beginning of the day. Oats in granola or oats in oatmeal, fantastic, but it's that flirting of the line. It's not a sweet potato where it's basically perfect carbohydrate for you, but it's pretty good, okay? Rice cake. Love me some rice cakes. That's going to be our next take, right? So we're going through that list. I'm working my way down from the straight sugar all the way down through sweet potato. That rice cake is going to be a great choice. I love it with a good fat, so peanut butter, things like that. A big trick in the bodybuilding realm, they're very light calorically. So when you're trying to hit your macros, something like a carbohydrate or something like a rice cake for your carbohydrate is going to be really great to sneak in to help make you feel a little bit full. The puff of it is going to make you feel real satiated, but it's not going to take up a lot of carbohydrate count. From there, we go to fruits. Now, fruits are categorized in all sorts of different things. The easiest way to think about something is tropical, not tropical, right? So banana, pineapple, kiwi, things like that, strawberries, super high glycemic. Not bad though. This is where I said high glycemic can be good or bad, right? So a high glycemic food, but it's a good source of sugar, right? I have strawberries out for a reason. So my strawberries, high glycemic, gummy worms, high glycemic, both high sources of sugar. One is a natural source, one is a processed source. This is hands down a great source of sugar for your body at the right time. We're eating it in the morning with breakfast, things like that. You're eating a handful of strawberries to finish your day. You're literally eating gummy worms before you go to bed. Why would I do that? You're just going to store it as fat, okay? So again, timing also plays a really big part in this, along with the type of food that you're eating. I also have berries out. So we get into phytonutrients. I'm a big fan of blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, and it's a situation where much lower on that glycemic scale in terms of content of sugar, still has it in there, but you're also going to get a much bigger bang for your buck in terms of antioxidants and other things that are in your system. So we can start to basically outweigh some of the negatives and give really good sources. Again, low on the scale, but still I have to be honest and say it is a source of sugar. If you're eating a good handful or something like that, that's fantastic. But if you're eating, half of a carton of it and it's before you go to bed, that's not going to end up, good for you, right? Last but not least, and I want to go through this, is alcohol. So with our alcohol content, we think to look for things that are most readily converted and most readily absorbed in the body. So the quickest and easiest answer is going to be tequila. We can and absolutely will create a video to kind of go into this, but tequila, especially coming into the holiday season, should be your go-to drink. I don't want to see you with mixers and sodas and all sorts of stuff like that. It is the cleanest and most readily converted to energy, we'll just call it energy for now, with the least amount of byproduct, and we'll just call it byproduct for now, within your system. From there, we kind of regress. Vodka is going to be a close second. And then we work our way backwards down to dark liquors, and then finally wine and beer. More so wine and beer I put at the end because of the yeast content. A lot of people are allergic and there's all sorts of other side effects to that. For now, understand that alcohol is carbohydrates. You can't tell me that you're on a low carb diet and then you're going out drinking on the weekends. This is sugar. It gives you energy. It also is most readily stored as fat. So one thing I wanted to touch on is most people will complain, Josh, I've got this little pooch, right? Oh, I've just finished this, the holiday, and I've got this thing going on here. Well, I guarantee you were drinking at the family dinner and you were eating mashed potatoes with, your sweet potato casserole and a turkey and a stuffing. Well, all you had there was a little source of protein and then a whole setup of carbohydrates. Not thinking through, was there any greens? Was there vegetables? Was it a lean dinner? What was the source of protein? All of this comes together to make nutrients. Let's take all of this and take a couple steps back. How do I coach, and how do I coach you to eat through the day and to include or not include carbohydrates? So first and foremost, what feels best for your body? What makes you feel the best? I personally need to eat lower carbohydrates. I'm very sensitive to them. I eat less in terms of count, and I also eat less in terms of I don't eat pastas anymore. I stay as much as I can away from bread. I still love my sandwiches and I eat it, right? That's why I have it. But I stay away. I'll have granola. I'll have fruits, things like that. Sweet potatoes every day, right? Choices like that make a difference. And a big coaching point for you, because again, the point of this channel is to give you tactical information. My hope is to kind of boil some of this down and give you just readily available tactical information to start to take charge in your life. I want you good carbohydrate breakfast, oatmeal, fruits, scoop of protein or peanut butter, something like that, egg white omelet, things like that. Going into lunch, you can have your sandwiches and soups and things like that, but I like to coach no carbs past 3. So that's going to be my biggest secret. Unless you're an evening worker or you're an athlete who works out late, no carbs past 3. This is going to see the most quickly accessible results in terms of sleep. You're going to sleep better. You're going to drop your blood sugar late at night. You'll have probably more lucid dreams. It happens to me all the time. That body fat content, that pooch that we're talking about, the feeling start to fade away, right? Eating late at night doesn't do a lot for us. Yes, you should be full. You should feel good going into the evening. You should be hungry going to bed. However, at the end of the day, what you're choosing late in the evenings, high protein, high vegetable, low carbohydrate or no carbohydrate is going to be your best bet. And I think finding the happy balanced solution that works best for you in all of this is going to be your easiest answer. Personally, I don't coach one way or the other. Atkins, keto, this, that, and the other thing. This one's gluten intolerant, and that one doesn't like fish, and this one's pescatarian. What works for you? What makes you happy? What makes you feel good? Listen to that, right? Have a positive outlook on food. Carbohydrates are good for you in the right setting, in the right time, in the right area, right? So eat well, focus on your nutrition. It's the key to success. Again, in the comments, if you have anything, any questions, I'm here. Talk to me. I would love to get to know who's